Good morning, everyone. Myself, PRADEEP Meher, a lecturer in economics. ମୋର ଆବାଜ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ କ୍ଲିୟରଲି ଶୁଭୁଛେ? Am I audible clearly? Okay. Today we are going to discuss about the monetary policy. Is this slide is visible? Slide ଦିଶୁଛେ ପିଲେ? Okay. My voice is clearly. Is my voice clear? Okay. So today we are going to discuss about one of the important macroeconomic concept, that is the monetary policy. Okay. So generally in this today's class we are going to discuss about the monetary policy and the components of monetary policy, objective of the monetary policy, types of the monetary policy and tools of the monetary policy, as well as the current monetary policy rates in India and the conclusion part. So ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ପିଲେ ମୋର ଆବାଜ କ୍ଲିୟରଲି ଶୁଭୁଛେ? ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ମୋର ଆବାଜ ଶୁଭୁଛି କ୍ଲିୟରଲି? ଓକେ। ସୋ ପିଲେ କିଏ ସମସ୍ତେ ଆଗରୁ ମନିଟେରୀ ପଲିସି ବିଷୟରେ କିଛି କିଛି ପଢ଼ିଛ? ଓକେ, ଲାଇଟ୍ ଚାର୍ଟ ଅନ୍ ଅଛେ, ତୁମେ କହିପାରବ। ଓକେ, ସୋ generally ପିଲେ monetary policy is one of the important kinds of economic policy which deals with the money supply, demand for money, and the interest rate or rate of interest. So, if there is change in the rate of interest, how the money supply will change, how the demand for money will behave, that concerns in the monetary policy, and that actually deals by the monetary policy. Okay, okay. Now, generally, the simple thing is that the monetary policy question arises. Okay, so the monetary policy is the policy which deals with the demand for money, supply of money, and the rate of interest. कुछ है कि नहीं? तो मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी पे गोटे इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसी है जी के क्या करसी डिमांड फॉर मनी, सप्लाई ऑफ मनी संगे संगे आम रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट के डील करसी। जदि आम रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट बढ़वा बेले सप्लाई ऑफ मनी क्या हवा किंबा डिमांड फॉर मनीटा क्या हवा आमे सेटा डिस्कस करसु। ओके, सो क्लियरली सी विजुअल होचे पले स्लाइडटा and the monetary policy, and this is the basically introduction of the monetary policy. Okay, and monetary policy is a kind of economic policy which deals with the monetary tools along with the demand for money, supply of money, and rate of interest. Okay, and monetary policy is controlled by the central bank of the any country. Like the in India, the monetary policy is controlled, regulated, supervised by the Reserve Bank of India. And Reserve Bank of India is the central bank of India or central monetary authority of India. Okay, and basically this monetary policy help us to control the interest rate and maintain the price stability whenever there is the situation called inflation and deflation. Okay, ବୁଝି ହଉଛେ? Now this slide represents, okay, this slide represent the monetary policy. Okay, economic policy is mainly two types. One is the monetary policy and another one is fiscal policy. Okay, and monetary policy deals with determined by the central bank, and the components of the monetary policy is money supply, demand for money, and rate of interest. While the fiscal policy is controlled, regulated by the central government or the government or union government. Okay, and the basically fiscal policy deals with the fiscal rules and regulations like public revenue, okay, the public expenditure, and the public debt. Public revenue, public expenditure, and the public debt. Okay, and fiscal policy generally deals or controlled by the central government and public revenue. Now the question arises: public revenue. What does it mean? So public revenue is the revenue generated through some the tax sources or through some non-tax sources. Okay, so generally कहबार के गले पब्लिक रेवेन्यू होचे पहले सरकारंकर आय किंबा सरकारंकर इनकम जहा की टैक्स और नॉन टैक्स थ्रू रु गवर्नमेंट का करसी पैसा कमासी. ओके, बुझी हला. तो पैसा कमासी बेले दुई प्रकार दुईटा सोर्स होचे मेनली टैक्स सोर्सेस. ओके, एंड द सेकंड सोर्स रा होचे नॉन टैक्स सोर्सेस. बुझी हला. तो टैक्स सोर्सेस रे जंते कि इनकम टैक्स हला ए डायरेक्ट टैक्स एंड इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स थ्रू रु का करसी गवर्नमेंट टा इम्पोज करसी. बुझी पारुछ कि नहीं? समस्ते बुझी पारुछ? आर गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? Okay. So basically, the government generates revenue by the government generates revenue through the tax revenue or through the non-tax revenue. So tax revenue deals with the two types. One is the direct tax, and another one is indirect tax. Now, direct tax is the tax which is imposed on the person. Okay, those who actually bear the money burden, or in easily we can say, or in simply we can say, direct tax is the tax in which the impact and incidence fall on the same person. Impact means initial burden, and the incidence means final money burden falls on the person. Okay, and non-tax revenue like fees, fines, challans, e-charge duties, and basically special assessments are the non-tax revenue. So fiscal policy is not the concern. Today we are going to discuss. We are going to discuss about the monetary policy. And monetary policy, as you all know, is governed by the central bank, money supply, demand for money, and the rates of interest. Okay, rates of interest. Now, basically, what are the objectives of the monetary policy? So basically, the main objective of the monetary policy is to maintain the full employment. As you all know, achieving full employment is a myth. As the many other economists like the Keynes said. Are you getting my point? Are you getting my point? Okay. So, the first important objective of the monetary policy is full employment. Okay, and generally, full employment situation is nothing but where whatever the resources an economy have should be utilized in the proper manner, should be utilized in full efficient manner. Okay, it means we can simply say full employment is a situation when all the people of the economy will get employed. Okay, and basically the primary objective of the monetary policy is to achieve the full employment situation. Okay, achieving the full employment situation is not a simple task, but a big issue or big task for any economy. Okay, the always the economy runs with the underemployment situation. Full employment situation टा पिले पाइबाटा कि achieve करबाटा इजी जिनिसटा नहीं सेटा बहुत difficult जिनिसटा है. क्या जे difficult जिनिस है? Because आमर पाखे जहाँ भी resources अच्छे हमें fully utilize करी नहीं पारबो. As an Indian economy, if आमे जो दी Indian economy रो कथा कहमा, Indian economy रो situation रो कथा कहमा, तो ଆମେ फाइंड करमा कि आमर पाखे जहाँ भी रिसोर्सेस अच्छे सेटा अंडर यूटिलाइज रही पारे. तो इंडिया लगी पले फुल एम्प्लॉयमेंट सिचुएशन टा गुटे अचीव करवाटा गुटे ना बड़ कथा है आउ डिफिकल्ट कथा भी है तो ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम इंडियन इकोनॉमी ग्रो होउछे एंड ट्राई करूछे कि फुल एम्प्लॉयमेंट सिचुएशन टा अचीव करवा ले ओके एंड द प्राइमरी ऑब्जेक्टिव होछे पले मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी रो हमर फुल एम्प्लॉयमेंट सेकंड जिनिसटा होछे प्राइस स्टेबिलिटी ओके तो तुम माने यू माइट हैव हियर्ड द इन्फ्लेशन एंड डिफ्लेशन जेन कि गोटे देश रो लगी इन्फ्लेशन भी खराब है और डिफ्लेशन भी खराब है तो इन्फ्लेशन एंड डिफ्लेशन के कंट्रोल करवा लगी another important objective of the monetary policy is price stability जदि प्राइस टाके बढ़ुछे तो गवर्नमेंट क्या करवा कैन मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी अडॉप्ट करेगी सपोज द प्राइस ऑफ द गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज इज इंक्रीजिंग सो द सेंट्रल बैंक शुड अडॉप्ट द contractionary monetary policy to control the rise in the prices or to control the inflation. Rather, there is a situation called deflation. Okay, so the central bank should adopt the expansionary monetary policy to increase the money supply in the economy by reducing the rate of interest, and the decrease in the price will automatically restore. Okay, with the help of the expansionary monetary policy. ओके गॉट द पॉइंट समस्त बुझीछ तो पिले कहार किसी डाउट अच्छे ओके एंड तीन नंबरटा होचे पिले इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ तो मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी रो अनदर इंपोर्टेंट ऑब्जेक्टिव होचे पिले इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथटा ओके एंड द फोर्थ वन इज बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट okay balance of payment deals with the four sector economy as you all know the first is the basically four sector economy includes the household sector farm sector, government sector, and the foreign sector. And foreign sector mainly deals with the exports and imports of goods and services. Okay, so whatever the goods and services an economy is exporting, and whatever the goods and services an economy is importing, is deals by the foreign sector. And foreign sector, and basically the monetary another important objective of the monetary policy is to maintain a balanced balance of payment or basically the balance of payment equilibrium situation, and this is the basically the very difficult task to achieve the balance of payment equilibrium situation. And when the export is equals to imports, there is the situation called balance of payment equilibrium. But when the export is more than the imports, this is called the surplus balance of payment. And when the basically imports is more than the export, this is called the balance of payment deficit situation. And the last but not the least important objective of the monetary policy is the financial stability. So whatever the financial crises are happening in any economy, like we can see the 2006 financial crisis in USA. Okay, we can see the 1980s financial crisis, all the financial crisis. So basically, the another important objective of the monetary policy is to achieve the financial stability. Okay, बुझे हुए पिले, are you getting my point or not getting? Are you getting live chat रे पिले reply दियो. Okay, then I can know whether you are actually getting or not. Okay. This is the actually the concept. Okay, this is the basically concept full employment. Okay, price stability and the economic growth, balance of payment. Okay, okay. Now types of monetary policy. What we have going to discuss, there are two important types of monetary policy. One is the expansionary monetary policy and the second one is contractionary monetary policy. Expansionary monetary policy is a kind of monetary policy which try to increase the money supply by reducing the rate of interest. Okay, when we reduce the rate of interest, when the central bank reduce the rate of interest just to increase the money supply in the economy, that is called the expansionary monetary policy. And generally, in the term expansionary stands for the expansion. Expansion of what? Expansion of money supply in the economy. That is called the expansionary monetary policy. In simply, we can understand. But in the economic terms, expansionary monetary policy means when the central bank or the RBI reduces the rate of interest just to boost the money supply in the economy, just to increase the money supply in the economy, and that is the expansionary monetary policy. Okay, and basically the role of the expansionary monetary policy is to control the pricing, to maintain the price instability in the sense the situation of inflation, deflation. To control that, there is the called the expansionary monetary policy always control the deflationary situation. Okay, and the second one is contractionary monetary policy. Contraction means to an extent observing, okay, to an extent absorb. So contractionary monetary policy is a kind of monetary policy in which the central bank increases the rates of interest, all those things like CRR, SLR, okay, repo rate, reverse repo rate, bank rate, discount rate, all the rates increased just to reduce the, okay, just to reduce the money supply. And when the money supply reduces, what happened? Okay, when the rate of interest increases, the loan amount becomes cheaper. And when the rate of interest increases, the loan amount becomes expensive. And when the loan amount becomes expensive, people take less loans or low loans. Then what happened? The money supply ultimately reduces. Okay, বুঝে বুঝে পেলে? ক্লিয়ার? কার কিছু ডাউট আছে? So when the rate of interest increases, money supply decreases. This is the situation called contractionary monetary policy. বুঝি ହେଲା? বুঝি ହେଲା ପିଲେ? Okay. And now these are the basically tools. Okay, these are the basically tools of the monetary policy. ହେଲା? So basically CRR. SLR. CRR means cash reserve ratio, and SLR means statutory liquidity ratio, and repo rate, reverse repo rate, and others also. Okay. So now, first of all, we have to know what do you mean or what the CRR stands or actual the meaning of the CRR. So cash reserve ratio is the some percentage of the total deposit will be kept as a reserve for the central bank for the disinvestment. Okay, when all the commercial banks maintain some percentage of the total deposits as a reserve for the central bank. Why? For the central bank, and this CRR amount and this some percentage of the money is spent for the disadvantage, disinvestment is spent for the disinvestment. Okay, for the purchase and sale of basically government securities, bonds, etc. Okay, and when the basically what happened, when the CRR increases, what will happen? The when the RBI increases the CRR, okay, the money supply reduces. Suppose take an example, we can say, suppose the total amount of total deposit is suppose 10,000, and suppose the CRR is 5%. Okay, so the 500 rupees will be reserved for the central bank for the disinvestment. Okay, and suppose the CRR has increased from 5% to 10%. Now the commercial bank has to maintain 1,000 rupees as a reserve for the central bank for the purpose of disinvestment. Okay, and when the CRR increases, money supply ultimately decreases. Got the idea? Now the statutory liquidity ratio. Okay, statutory liquidity ratio. It is also similar to the cash reserve ratio, but instead in the CRR we kept the money as a reserve for the central bank, but here we kept the money as a reserve for the own bank, self. All the commercial bank maintain some percentage of the money as a reserve. Okay, kept some percentage of the money as a reserve for themselves, for self. So if you want, mostly ई जगह ही confusion ऐसी पहले कि CRR और SLR भितर difference टा क्या ହେଲା ପ୍ରାୟ ଲୋକ କନଫ୍ୟୁଜନ ଯେହେତୁ ମିନିଂଟା ସେମ୍ है बट सेंट्रल CRR ର C stands for the central and SLR ର S stands for the self ଯଦି ତମକେ डिफिकल्ट होचे बुझबार लागि तो एटा होचे बेस्ट टेक्निक मते लागसी आई बिलीव. Okay, now the repo rate. Okay, so generally repo rate is a kind at which what happened, the repo rate repo rate is the rate at which the central bank, okay, lends money to the commercial bank for the very short period of time. Very short period of time. This is similar to the bank rate. Okay, bank rate, but there is a basic difference between the bank rate and the repo rate. Repo rate for the short period of time and bank rate for the long period of time. Okay, are you getting my point? बुझे बुझे Now, the reverse repo rate. And this is the totally opposite. Okay, this is the totally opposite of the repo rate. It means whenever there is a requirement of the money absorption or basically money expansion, what happens? The basically central banks takes loans from the commercial bank. Okay, just to absorb the money supply in the economy, just to reduce the money supply in the economy, what happens? The central bank takes back loans from the commercial bank. ओके जदि बेले कमर्शियल बैंक मानकर पाखरे जहाँ पैसा थिबा तो सेमाने जहाँ लोन देबे बेले लोक मानकर पाखे काण हवा जहाँ मनी सप्लाई रहबा जहाँ मनी सप्लाई रहले काण हवा बेले इन्फ्लेशन बढ़बा तो इन्फ्लेशन के एक्चुअली रे कंट्रोल करबा लागि का करसी सेंट्रल बैंक से रिवर्स रेपो रेट भी एडॉप्ट करसी हैं तार थ्रू काण हवा जेते भी एक्स्ट्रा मनी सप्लाई अछि से एब्जॉर्ब करिकि रखि okay the central bank will absorb the money supply. Okay, the central bank will absorb the money supply. This is called the reverse repo rate, and a reverse repo rate at the rate at which the central bank of the economy borrows money from the commercial bank. Okay, and when the RRR reverse repo rate increases, the money supply decreases. Okay, बुझी हला पिले? Okay, now bank rate and open market operation. Okay, now this is the bank rate and open market operations and the marginal standing facility. Okay, marginal standing facility. So bank rate is also is similar to the repo rate. Okay, because it is the rate, or we can say bank rate is also known as the discount rate or discounted rate of interest. Okay, so at which the bank rate is the rate at which the Reserve Bank is ready to buy or rediscount the bill of exchange or other commercial paper. Or in simply you can say bank rate is the rate at which, okay, the commercial bank takes loans from the central banks, okay, for the long period of time. But in the reverse repo rate, we see basically in the repo rate, we see the commercial bank takes loans from the central bank for the short period of time. So there are two important difference between the repo rate and bank rate. Is the first thing is that for the in case of repo rate, the commercial banks takes loans from the central bank for the short period of time, but in case of bank rate, the commercial bank takes loans from the central bank for the long period of time. First difference. The second difference is in the bank rate. Okay, in the bank rate, the commercial bank there is no need of deposit any type of collateral securities while taking loans from the central bank. Okay, but in case of repo rate, when there is a requirement of taking loans, okay, the commercial bank has to deposit some collateral securities in the central bank, then the central bank will allow to take loans. Otherwise, no. So basically, in case of repo rate, there is a need of depositing collateral securities, but in case of bank rate, there is no need of depositing any collateral securities. Is that clear? Got the point? Now the open market operation. So basically, open market operation is a kind of market in which the openly trading of the sale and purchase of government securities, debentures, Okay, treasury bills, all the government securities, debentures, all are here, sold and purchased. Okay, so this is the open market in which openly the purchase and sale of government securities are occurred, and because of this is called the open market operations. Got the point? বুঝে হয়েছে? Now the marginal standing facility, and basically facility under which the scheduled commercial bank can borrow additional amount of overnight money from the reserve bank by dipping into the statutory liquidity ratio portfolio up to a limit 2% of their net demand. In simply कहवार के गले पेले marginal standing facility रो meaning होचे suppose गोटे commercial bank central bank रो 100 कोटी रो लोन नहीं पारवा. Okay, basically the limit of taking 100 taking loans is suppose 100 crores. Okay, and suppose the SBI, the State Bank of India, wants to take more loans. ताकि 150 कोटी रो दरकार अच्छे पिले कहा कि स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया के 150 कोटी रो दरकार अच्छे एंड से 150 कोटी रो ताने लोन नेवार के चाहूची तो ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ पिले काना स्टैट्यूटरी लिक्विडिटी रेशियो रो बेसिस रे से का करबा ओवर द नाइट रे जते एक्स्ट्रा दरकार पड़ुचे से नहीं पारवा बुझे बुझे दिस इज कॉल्ड द मार्जिनल स्टैंडिंग फैसिलिटी दिस इज कॉल्ड द मार्जिनल स्टैंडिंग फैसिलिटी ओके. And this is nothing but the current monetary rates. Okay, this is nothing but the current monetary rates. Okay, now as per the data, okay, now the policy repo rate is 6%. Okay, the standing deposit facility rate is 5.75. Marginal standing facility rate is 6.25%. Okay, and bank rate is the 6.25%, and fixed reverse repo rate is 3.35%. And the important thing is the CRR and SLR. Okay, and the CRR has reduced from 4.5% to 4%. Now the CRR cash reserve ratio is 4%. It means if the total deposit is 10,000 rupees, so there will be a 400 rupees will be reserved for the central, and the SLR will be 18%. And now, if you see the exchange rate, 2 3 days before, $1 equals to 85.5665 rupees, and 1 GBP equals to 114.0299 rupees, and €1 equals to in the Indian rupee 95 rupees, and basically 100 Japanese equals to 58.999000 as per the first PM of May 16. ହେଲା मे 16 2025 रो अनुसार एक बजे डाटार अनुसार इटा होचे सब रेट. ओके, बुझी हल्ला पहले बुझी पारुछ कि नहीं? Okay, now the conclusion. So conclusion, it means generally in the conclusion, okay, what do you find? Okay, so basically the monetary policy plays a very important role for maintaining, okay, for the maintaining, achieving the full employment situation, for the maintaining price stability situation, for the maintaining financial stability situation, for achieving economic growth situation. So the monetary policy plays a very important, and rather and hence, okay, or further, the monetary policy plays a very important role to control or regulate the money supply by changing the rate of interest. Suppose the central bank wants to increase the money supply, the central bank will perform will perform a contractionary the will perform an expansionary monetary policy. And as you all know, expansionary monetary policy means reduction of the rate of interest, which will ultimately increase the money supply. ଆମେ ଯଦି ରେଟ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟ କି କମାବାରେ କାଁ ହେବା ପିଲେ ଅଲ୍ଟିମେଟଲି ଆମର ମନି ସପ୍ଲାଇଟା ବଢ଼ବା. ବୁଝିପାରିଲ କି ନାହିଁ? ଇଜ୍ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ କ୍ଲିୟର? एंड इन्फ्लेशन एंड डिफ्लेशन के रिसेशन के तने बोले कंट्रोल करवा ले मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी इंपोर्टेंट रोल प्ले करसी. And not but not last but not the least, monetary policy is very important for the economic growth of economy. Its instrument play a very important role to adjust the economic condition according to the current economic situation. Current economic situation means suppose there is a situation called inflation. Hello. You might have seen, okay, in the 6 7 months ago, the there is a high inflation on the tomato. 1 kilo of tomato is exchanged for the 300 rupees of 300 rupees. So basically, just imagine the inflation in the tomato. Okay, are you getting or not? Is that clear? So ask me whatever if you have any doubts regarding the today's class. If you have any doubts, so ask me regarding the today's class. Anybody? Study with Priti, Subham Panda, ABCD Pawan, okay, and Sambit, Arjun Sahu. If you have any doubts, then ask me. No doubts. Okay, okay, thank you. Anybody? Subham, ABCD Pawan, Study with Priti. If you have any doubts, okay, 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 thank you, thank you. Okay, so ପିଲେ ଟିକେ ମୋତେ ସପୋର୍ଟ ଦରକାର ଅଛି ଆଇ ନିଡ୍ ୟର ସପୋର୍ଟ ଯେହେତୁ ଇନ୍ ଦିସ୍ ଫିଲ୍ଡ ଆଇ ଏମ୍ ନ୍ୟू ସୋ ଯଦି ତମକେ ଭିଡ଼ିଓ ଭଲ ଲାଗ୍ଲା ବେଲେ ତ ଲାଇକ୍ କର ଓକେ ତମର ସାଙ୍ଗମାନଙ୍କୁ ସେୟାର କର ଯେନ୍ମାନେ କି କାଣା ହଉଛେ କି ଇଜିଲି ଇ ଜିନିଷ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ଟିକେ ଯେତେ ବି ଡିଫିକଲ୍ଟ ଇକୋନୋମିକ୍ କନସେପ୍ଟ ଅଛେ ସେ ଜିନିଷକେ ଆମେ ଟ୍ରାଏ କର୍ମା ସିମ୍ପ୍ଲିଫାଏଡ୍ ଭର୍ଜନରେ ପଢ଼ବା ଲାଗି ମୁଇଁ ଟ୍ରାଏ କର୍ମି ସବୁବେଲେ କି ସିମ୍ପ୍ଲିଫାଏଡ୍ ଭର୍ଜନରେ ପଢ଼ାମି ତ ଯଦି ତମକେ ଭିଡ଼ିଓ ଭଲ ଲାଗୁଛି ଇଫ୍ ୟୁ ଲାଇକ୍ ଦିସ୍ ଭିଡ଼ିଓ ସୋ ସେୟାର ୱିଥ୍ ୟର ଫ୍ରେଣ୍ଡସ୍ ଓକେ and support me. যেহেতু এই পিলে এই চ্যানেলটা মোর নেছি দিস চ্যানেল ইজ বিকজ অফ ইউ and is for you. Okay, thank you. So কাহারি কিছু ডাউট নানু তো চলো ঠিক আছে হ্যাঁ থ্যাংক ইউ ওকে